Tired of missing out on stuffing at Thanksgiving because you're gluten-free? This recipe will make it so you never have to feel left out at the holiday table again. Hi, my name is Alicia Falk-Horton from Simply Gluten-Free Kitchen, your gluten-free bestie when it comes to all things recipes, tips, tricks, and more. Today we're going to be making a gluten-free stuffing that is so delicious that even your non-gluten-free family and friends will love it. All right, let's dive in. All right, first we're going to make that base. We're going to dry out some gluten-free bread. You can pick whatever loaf is your favorite if you make it at home, and you just want it to be about 12 ounces or so, 12 to 16 ounces, which is one loaf's worth. And you're going to take it and you're going to cut it into smaller cubes. Then I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of olive oil or whatever oil you prefer. Put that on your breadcrumbs. And then I'm using fresh herbs from my garden, but you can also use herbs from the store, or Pampered Chef has a really tasty rosemary thyme that's already put together for you, and you would just put some of that in here. Now, if you do want this recipe and my other Thanksgiving recipes, just comment Thanksgiving in the comments and I'll make sure you get my full recipe shopping list plan that I use for my Thanksgiving. All right, so let's start with oregano. Now I'm going to do a little, like a half of what I would normally do just because these are fresh herbs. We're going to do a little bit of oregano. And our sage. Pop that in there. Then I'm going to do my rosemary. And my thyme. Or as I like to tease and call it, my thyme, because it's how I remember how to spell it, right? Okay, we're going to put that in there too. Now I am going to take my whisk tongs, open them up, and I'm going to mix this all together until it's combined super, super well. Now, what's cool about these whisk tongs is you can actually pop them together and it turns into a whisk, or you take them apart, boom, perfect for stuff like this, fish, chicken, all kinds of different things you can use these for. I even use them for hard-boiled eggs because this will actually bend to the shape of the egg and hold your hard-boiled eggs when you're trying to get them out of the water or put them in, either one. So I really, really love these whisk tongs. I end up using them for all kinds of different stuff. All right, once you get it nice and mixed, I'm actually just going to grab my half sheet pan. You can also put some parchment paper on top of it if you're worried about it sticking, but I have the oil on here, so it should be good to go. And I'm just going to pour this into my pan, and you just want to make sure that it's a nice, even single layer. You don't want to have too much of it stacked on top of each other, or it's not going to dry super well. Now I'm going to pop it in the oven at 300 degrees for about 8 minutes or so. Mix it. Do another 8 minutes, then it'll be ready for putting our stuffing together. All right, so this is what it looks like when they're all done, dried out, and ready to go. So I'm going to pop these over here. And next I'm going to melt a little bit of butter into the skillet so we can prepare the true stuffing ready for Thanksgiving dinner. So I'm going to start off, I just use a plant-based butter because I also have to be lactose free. So I'm going to melt about 2 to 4 tablespoons of butter. Today, for this demonstration, I'm doing a half of a recipe, but on actual Thanksgiving Day, I make enough stuffing to fill a 13 by 9 pan. This will do about an 8 by 8 pan, which will be perfect for just a simple dinner tonight. And I've actually also taken sausage and cooked up sausage and put it into a stuffing, and it kind of makes a little bit of a casserole meal. Something simple just for maybe 2 people. Now my butter is melted. I'm going to add some onion. Now you could use yellow or sweet onion. I prefer sweet, but it's truly up to you. So I'm going to pop my onion in there. Then I'm going to pop my celery that I have chopped, We're going to kind of get that nice and into the butter so it can start cooking. We're going to want to cook this down all the way until it's like translucent and soft, okay? All right, we're about halfway through cooking this, and now I want to add my garlic. I'm going to take my garlic clove, pop it into my garlic press, and get some of that yummy garlic in there. Now, why I wait to add the garlic until about halfway through the sautéing process is because garlic will actually cook a little bit faster, and I don't want it to burn as I'm waiting for the rest of the stuff to cook down and get soft. So we're going to add that garlic in. So while we are waiting for this to cook up, I want to know in the comments, do you like a soft and kind of gooey stuffing, or do you like it nice and crispy and crusty on the top? Tell us in the comments which one you prefer. Okay, it's getting really, really close to being done. So this is an optional step, but I just like the taste of it. I have some gluten-free soy sauce here, and I'm going to add just a little bit, like 1/4 of a teaspoon, super simple amount. And I'm going to cook that in as well. Like I said, totally optional. I just like the little bit of flavor it gives it, you know, a little bit of that salty soy sauce taste. All right, so I moved the veggies off of the heat and I put it on a hot pad over here. Next step, people get a little confused, think they can't do it. It's really not as hard as what it seems when you read the recipe, and that is getting ready for the broth and the egg. So I'm going to start off with my egg, pop that in there like so, and then I'm going to use my sauce whisk to whisk it up. And I just like this because you can actually use this in nonstick cookware as well, because it has a covering, a silicone covering over it to be the whisk part. So I use this a lot when I'm even making gravies and things too. All right, so I'm nice and whisked. So now I'm going to continue to whisk as I pour in my chicken broth. And keep whisking, keep whisking. And that's going to combine all those things together without letting the egg cook down, because you're continually whisking it. Pour in all of that broth, okay? And now, big tip with your chicken broth, vegetable broth, beef broth, make sure it is labeled gluten-free, okay? That can be a really big one for hidden gluten, or they just don't test or whatever. I've gotten sick from it, so make sure you always double check your broths and your stocks before using them. All right, so now this is combined together. I'm gonna add my veggies into this. I'm just going to use this sauce whisk again since it's nice and safe for my pretty non-stick cookware here. All right, and then let's mix that, give it a little mix. And now we're going to combine. All right, let's say you need to save some time and some space for the actual Thanksgiving day. You can actually make your dried breadcrumbs up to 14 days in advance and leaving them at room temperature in an airtight bag like a Ziploc or a glass container. Or you can even freeze it to hold it up for up to 3 months. And then you just take it out and let it thaw and then use it in your recipe. So this is definitely make ahead. And then you could even make this part ahead and pop it in the refrigerator like the night before, and then combine and do your final touches in the oven on actual Thanksgiving Day. So while you're prepping the turkey and everything else, you would have this, you throw it in, super simple. So I have my oven preheating to 375. I'm gonna take my beautiful stoneware dish here. I absolutely love stoneware. It's so much easier to clean. The top, which is the lid, can also be a serving tray and you can cook on it on its own. So I'm going to have my stoneware. I'm going to pour in my breadcrumbs. And this is an 8x8 stoneware bake pan. Now I'm going to dump in my vegetable, egg, and broth topping. And I'm going to give that a mix all together, still using my whisk tongs, because why dirty yet another utensil, right? And I'm just going to want to make sure that everything is nice and coated and mixed together. And this is just going to make the cutest little side dish for dinner tonight. That's one of the best parts of this job. You know that? I get to make the yummy food and then eat it afterwards. All right, so here it is, ready to go into the oven. I'm going to put my lid back on it. I'm going to cook it for about 30 minutes at 375. All right, so our 30 minutes are up. So I'm going to pull this out and take off my lid. And then we're gonna cook it for about another 15 minutes just so it can get nice and crispy on the top. And here is the finished product. Doesn't that look so good? If you enjoyed this and want my whole entire Thanksgiving meal plan, make sure you comment Thanksgiving. And if you want to watch me make even more Thanksgiving recipes, just head up to the playlist right here, like and subscribe. Until I see you next time.